So Tracy, why are you so passionate about herbs?
I think that's a really good question. I first got interested in herbs because my grandmother used to use herbs when she was working with the family, and the reason she did that was because they were a farming family, and you tended to use what grew out of the ground and what was available. She used to tell the story about when she was in New Zealand, and the doctor used to come out on horseback once a month. So in between, you kind of made do with what nature gave you, and I think that probably ignited a passion and almost a romanticism for me. But I'm quite a logical person, so for me that faith wasn't quite enough. I needed to understand what is it about herbs and do they work, and so I did a science degree to try and work it out. And what I worked out was that there are a lot of chemicals that they've managed to isolate from plants, and they know those chemicals do stuff in the body. So you've got that evidence that's showing that it works. But the other thing is you do also have that magic, because what I've noticed is you can make up a herbal combination for somebody and you can make it up with all the scientific knowledge, but there's something that happens when you connect the right person with the right herb, and I think that's what excites me.
Right. So what is the relationship between people and herbs then, and what does that consist of?
I think deep down we all know what we need to heal ourselves. I think sometimes, when we're in the middle of an illness, it can be very confusing and very overwhelming. And we forget to check in with ourselves. And also we're not taught to check in with ourselves. We're taught to give our power away to people who are in authority, people who know better. And I think the great thing about the plants is that when you go and walk in nature, you're sort of channeled down that path where you reconnect with nature, and you find that space within where you can reconnect with yourself. And I think that's part of what herbs do. So as well as taking care of the physical and emotional, I think there's also a spiritual element to it.
And is there anything else that underpins, your beliefs, that inspires your work with people and herbs?
A lot of it is based on my own experiences with herbs. So, for example, when I had irritable bowel syndrome, because there's a family history of cancer. My father had bowel cancer when he was 49, so the medical profession took very good care of me, colonoscopy, the whole bit. And the thing for me was I got to the end of that process and the consultant came in and he said, "Great news, your bowel is normal." I was like, woohoo, I've got a normal bowel, brilliant. Why do I still feel so bad? Why do I feel so unwell? And for me, part of that journey was the herbs, because by learning about the herbs, I was learning about myself. I was learning about how I process the feelings that I have, the thoughts that I have, and learning about the herbs encouraged me to learn more about that as well. And there are things you can take, relaxing herbs and things like that, and by taking relaxing herbs and learning about that, you also learn how to relax yourself.
Right. And is there a vision that you have for the use of herbs?
Absolutely. The thing that drives me is I imagine this world where if we woke up one morning and we felt poorly, so we had a sore throat or something like that we could just go out into the garden, or we could go to the cupboard, or we could go to our fridge and we could just choose the herbs or the foods that we needed most to help our body to heal itself, because our body knows what to do. And then if we were suffering with something, something that was a little bit more serious, where we needed some help and we needed some support, what I'd love to see is a care team assembled that's truly multidisciplinary, where there's no agendas, there's no, that doesn't work, you can't come and play in our gang. Everybody is there totally focused on the patient. And the patient is educated, they're empowered, the consultants and the specialists are working with them so they know which therapies are good for which therapies aren't so good for which. And the patient can take the forefront of that journey to healing, and they can decide what healing means for them, and they can decide what they need to do to choose from that smorgasbord of therapies to heal themselves. I would love to see that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Nick.